Hey everyone, welcome back to SurvivalScope. I'm Larry, and today we're going over something crucial. 15 last-minute items you should grab before a natural disaster strikes. Now, I know we've discussed how important it is to be prepared in previous videos, and you should already have most of these items stocked up. But if you must get out because you forgot something, and it's still safe to head out to the store, let's make sure you have everything you need. You know, folks, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget to check your supplies. But trust me, when that storm's brewing or those tremors start shaking, you're gonna want to be prepared. We're talking peace of mind, folks, knowing you've got everything you need to weather the storm, literally. So, whether you're a seasoned prepper or just starting out, this checklist is for you. We're gonna go over some absolute essentials, things you might overlook in the heat of the moment. Remember, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Let's dive into the checklist. First up, water. You should have at least 1 gallon per person per day. Grab extra bottled water to ensure you stay hydrated during an emergency. Remember, folks, water is life. You can go without food for a while, but water is essential. Dehydration can sneak up on you, especially in a stressful situation. Don't wait until you're thirsty to start drinking. Keep a bottle handy at all times and encourage your family to do the same. Now, I know what you're thinking. Larry, I've got a tap. I'm good. But what happens when the power goes out or the water lines get disrupted? That's when those extra gallons come in handy. Trust me on this one, folks. Water is the first thing you'll miss, and you don't want to be caught short. Next, stock up on non-perishable foods like canned goods, granola bars, and ready-to-eat meals. These are essential for quick nourishment when cooking isn't an option. You got to keep your energy up during an emergency, and that means good food. Now, I'm not talking about gourmet meals here, folks. We're talking about sustenance, canned fruits and veggies, beans, tuna, peanut butter, things that will keep you going when the going gets tough. And don't forget about those ready-to-eat meals. You know, the ones you just add water to. They may not be fancy, but they'll fill you up when you don't have time for a 3-course meal. Remember, folks, a well-fed prepper is a happy prepper. So stock up on those non-perishables and be ready for anything. All right, folks, we've got our water, we've got our food, but what about access? You ever try opening a can of beans with your bare hands? Trust me, it's not pretty. That's why manual can openers are absolutely non-negotiable in your emergency kit. You can't assume you'll have power for those electric can openers. Think about it, in a grid-down situation, your pantry full of canned goods becomes useless without a way to get into them. That's like having a treasure chest but losing the key. Don't let a little piece of metal be the difference between a hot meal and going hungry. Now, I'm not talking about those flimsy, break-in-two-uses can openers either. Invest in a sturdy, reliable one. You want something that can handle years of use, even if it's just sitting in your kit. Remember, prepping is about being prepared for anything. Don't skimp on the essentials. A good manual can opener is worth its weight in gold when disaster strikes. We talk a lot about the physical necessities of survival: water, food, shelter. But what about our mental well-being? In a disaster situation, maintaining morale is just as important as any physical need. That's where comfort food comes in. Think about it. When you're stressed, scared, or just plain exhausted, what's more comforting than a bite of your favorite treat? It's a small thing, but it can make a world of difference in boosting your spirits and keeping you going. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and stock up on junk food, but having a few simple comforts on hand, things like hard candy, chocolate, or even just a packet of instant coffee, can provide a much-needed psychological boost when times get tough. Remember, survival is about more than just staying alive. It's about persevering, staying positive, and maintaining hope. And sometimes a little bit of comfort food is all it takes to do just that. We're talking about prepping for natural disasters, and you know what that means? Power outages. Yep. Those moments when the lights go out and you're left fumbling in the dark. But fear not, my friends, because we're going to talk about batteries, the unsung heroes of any emergency kit. You see, in a crisis, your electronics become more than just gadgets. They become lifelines. Your flashlight guides you through the darkness, your radio keeps you informed, and your phone lets you connect with loved ones. But none of that matters if you don't have the juice to power them. That's why I can't stress enough the importance of having a good supply of batteries in various sizes. We're talking AA, AAA, C, D, 9-volt, the whole shebang. Trust me, you don't want to be caught in a blackout with a dead flashlight and a drawer full of AA batteries when you need AAAs. Remember, batteries are relatively inexpensive and have a long shelf life, so stock up now and avoid the panic later. All right, folks, when the power's out, you're gonna need to see in the dark. And I ain't talking about learning Braille or nothing. We're talking flashlights, and plenty of them. Now, I'm partial to those big old mag lights, the kind that can double as a self-defense tool if you catch my drift. But hey, any flashlight is better than none. Just make sure you got some fresh batteries on hand, because there's nothing worse than fumbling around in the dark with a dead flashlight. Trust me, I've been there. Now, if you're feeling fancy, you can spring for one of those battery-powered lanterns. They put out a whole lot of light, perfect for illuminating a whole room. Just remember, the brighter the light, the faster it drains those batteries. So stock up, folks. Flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, whatever tickles your fancy. Just make sure you can see when the lights go out. All right, folks, let's talk about staying informed when the world goes haywire. You can't always rely on your fancy smartphones and Wi-Fi connections when disaster strikes. Nope, you need something reliable. Something that'll keep you updated on the situation even when the power grid's down. That's where a good old-fashioned radio comes in. Now I'm talking about a battery-powered or hand-crank radio, something that doesn't rely on the electrical grid. These little lifesavers will be your lifeline to the outside world, providing you with crucial information like weather reports, evacuation orders, and emergency broadcasts. Trust me, you don't want to be caught in the dark, both literally and figuratively, when a hurricane's bearing down on you. You need to know what's going on, where to go, and what to do. And a reliable radio will be your best friend in those situations. So don't be stingy, folks. Invest in a quality battery-powered or hand-crank radio. Keep it charged up, keep it handy, and keep yourself informed. All right, folks, let's face it. In this day and age, our phones are practically glued to our hands. They're our lifelines to the outside world, our sources of information, and let's be honest, our primary means of entertainment. But what happens when the power goes out and those little glowing rectangles turn into useless bricks? That's where a portable phone charger comes in handy, my friends. Now, I'm not talking about those flimsy little chargers that barely give you an extra 10% battery life. I'm talking about the heavy-duty, ruggedized chargers that can juice up your phone multiple times over. We're talking enough power to keep you connected, informed, and entertained for days, even when the grid's down. Think of it like this. A portable phone charger is like having a generator in your pocket. But instead of powering your house, it's powering your lifeline to the outside world. It's peace of mind, knowing that you can still call for help, check in with loved ones, or even just distract yourself with a little mindless scrolling when the world around you feels like it's fallen apart. All right, preppers, let's talk first aid. In a disaster, access to medical care might be limited, hospitals overwhelmed, roads blocked, the whole 9 yards. That's why having a well-stocked first aid kit is absolutely critical. And I don't mean just a couple of Band-Aids and some aspirin. We're talking the real deal here. You need a kit that can handle a variety of injuries, from minor cuts and scrapes to more serious stuff. Trust me, when that adrenaline's pumping and you're in a high-stress situation, you're gonna want a comprehensive kit by your side. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. Remember, folks, a first aid kit is an investment in your health and safety. It's a small price to pay for peace of mind, knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. So, don't skimp on this one. Get yourself a good quality kit and make sure it's fully stocked. Now let's talk about some specific supplies you should have in that kit. Make sure you have plenty of bandages in various sizes, antiseptic wipes to clean wounds, and pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen. And don't forget any prescription medications you or your family members might need. These essentials could mean the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major problem. All right, preppers, let's talk about something we often take for granted, personal hygiene. It's one of those things that we don't really think about until we don't have it. But in a crisis, it becomes one of the most important aspects of survival. In a disaster situation, maintaining hygiene can be a challenge, but it's absolutely crucial for preventing illness and staying healthy. Imagine being in a crowded shelter where germs can spread like wildfire. Good hygiene practices can be your first line of defense. We're talking about the basics here, the things that keep you clean and feeling human, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. Soap, shampoo, toothbrushes, toothpaste, and hand sanitizer are not just luxuries. They are necessities. Think about it. Water supplies might be disrupted, sanitation systems could be overwhelmed. You might find yourself in a situation where clean water is scarce, making it difficult to maintain your usual hygiene routines. You might not have access to your usual shower or bathroom facilities. Imagine trying to stay clean without running water or a functioning toilet. It sounds tough, right? But with the right preparation, you can manage. That's why it's essential to pack personal hygiene items in your emergency kit. Think of it as your portable bathroom. Include items like wet wipes, dry shampoo, and portable toilets if possible. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later when you're able to freshen up and feel a little bit more like yourself. A quick wipe down with wet wipes or a splash of bottled water on your face can make a world of difference. Now, I know what you're thinking. Larry, this is basic stuff, and you're right, it is, but it's the basic stuff that often gets overlooked in the rush to prepare for emergencies. We get so focused on the big-ticket items like food and water that we forget about the small things that make a big difference. But that's exactly why it's so easy to overlook. It's easy to forget about the simple things that contribute to our overall well-being. Imagine realizing you forgot your toothbrush after a few days without one. Not a pleasant thought, right? We get so caught up in stocking up on food, water, and other survival gear that we forget about the simple things that contribute to our overall well-being. Don't let that happen to you. Make a checklist and ensure you have all the essentials. Don't make that mistake, folks. Take the time to think about your hygiene needs and plan accordingly. It's not just about comfort, it's about survival. Remember, maintaining hygiene isn't just about feeling clean. It's about staying healthy. Good hygiene practices can prevent the spread of diseases, which is especially important in a disaster scenario. It's about preventing the spread of germs and infections, which can be rampant in disaster situations. Simple actions like washing your hands and keeping wounds clean can prevent serious health issues. So, let's dive into some specific hygiene items you should include in your emergency kit. From soap to hand sanitizer, let's make sure you're fully prepared to stay clean and healthy, no matter what comes your way. All right, folks, let's talk about something that's become even more important in recent times. Sanitation. In our daily lives, we often take cleanliness for granted. But in a disaster scenario, it becomes a matter of survival. In a disaster, maintaining a clean and disinfected environment is crucial for preventing the spread of germs and illnesses. Imagine being stuck in a confined space with limited access to medical facilities. The last thing you want is an outbreak of sickness. We're talking about creating a safe haven for you and your loved ones, even when the world outside feels chaotic. A clean environment can provide a sense of normalcy and security amidst the turmoil. Now, I know what you're thinking. Larry, we just talked about hygiene. Yes, personal hygiene is essential, but there's more to it. Sanitation goes beyond personal cleanliness. It's about ensuring that every surface you touch is free from harmful pathogens. It's about creating a clean and healthy living space, especially when access to clean water and sanitation facilities might be limited. Think about all the surfaces you come into contact with daily. In such situations, every little bit of cleanliness counts. Think about it. In a disaster, you might be sheltering in place with limited resources. You might be in a makeshift shelter or even your own home, but with restricted access to your usual amenities. You might not have access to your usual cleaning supplies or running water. Stores could be out of stock and you might not be able to replenish your supplies easily. That's why it's crucial to have hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes readily available. These items are compact, easy to store, and incredibly effective at killing germs. They're your first line of defense against germs and bacteria. Hand sanitizer can quickly disinfect your hands when soap and water aren't available, and disinfectant wipes can be used on various surfaces. Remember, folks, a clean environment is a healthy environment. By keeping your surroundings clean, you're reducing the risk of illness, and creating a safer space for everyone. By taking steps to sanitize your surroundings, you're not only protecting yourself, but also protecting those around you. It's a collective effort that benefits everyone in your household or shelter. So let's dive into why hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes are absolute must-haves in your emergency kit. These items are not just convenient, they are essential tools for maintaining health and hygiene in challenging circumstances. Make sure you have enough for everyone in your household, and keep them in an easily accessible location. All right, folks, we're moving into the home stretch of our pre-disaster checklist. And this next item is a real doozy. It's something that might seem a bit old-fashioned, but trust me, it's crucial. We're talking about cold, hard cash. Yes, the green stuff, the paper money that you might not think about much these days. You might be thinking, Larry, we live in a digital world. Who uses cash anymore? With all the apps and digital wallets, cash seems almost obsolete. And normally I'd agree with you. In our day-to-day lives, we swipe, tap, and click our way through transactions. But when a hurricane blows through or an earthquake shakes things up, those credit card readers, yeah, they don't work so good without power. In a disaster, the infrastructure we rely on can fail us. Imagine this, you pull up to the gas station, desperate to fill up your tank and get out of Dodge, but the pumps are down, cash only, no card, no gas. Suddenly, that $20 bill you've been carrying around for months seems like the most valuable thing in the world. It's your ticket to safety. Don't get caught in that situation. It's a helpless feeling, and one that's easily avoidable. Now, I'm not saying you need to empty your bank account and sleep on a mattress full of Benjamins. That's overkill and not practical. But having a couple $100 stashed away in small denominations? That's just smart preparedness. Think of it as your emergency lifeline. Think about it. You'll need cash for gas, to keep your vehicle running and get to a safe location. For food, to keep you and your family nourished. And for supplies, to ensure you have what you need to weather the storm. Maybe even for a motel room if you need to evacuate. A safe place to stay can make all the difference. Remember those lines at the ATM after Hurricane Katrina? I do. I was right here in the middle of it. We didn't have power back on at home for about 3 months. People were desperate for cash, and the ATMs were either out of service or had lines stretching around the block. It was chaos. Don't let that be you. Be the person who's prepared, who thought ahead, and has the resources to handle the situation. A little preparation goes a long way. It's about peace of mind and being ready for whatever comes your way. Small bills are your friend. They are easier to use and more practical in emergencies, so make sure your emergency stash includes plenty of them. We've covered a lot of ground, folks, but this next item is crucial. We're talking about your important documents. In the chaos of a natural disaster, it's easy to lose track of things. Wallets get lost, purses get left behind, and suddenly you're trying to prove your identity to FEMA with nothing but the shirt on your back. Not a good situation. That's why it's essential to gather all your vital documents and store them in a safe, waterproof container. We're talking driver's license, passport, social security card, birth certificates, insurance policies, the works. Having these documents readily accessible can be a lifesaver in the aftermath of a disaster. Imagine this, you've evacuated your home due to a wildfire, and you're at a shelter trying to access government assistance. They ask for proof of residency, insurance information, and identification. You reach for your waterproof container knowing everything is organized and protected. Peace of mind, folks. All right, folks, moving on to item number 14 on our list of last-minute grabs before disaster strikes, a good quality multi-tool or a selection of basic tools. Now you might be thinking, Larry, why tools? Isn't that a bit much? And my answer to that is a resounding no. You see, in a disaster situation, your everyday items can become lifesavers with a little ingenuity. A sturdy pair of pliers from your multi-tool can help you shut off a gas valve, a screwdriver can help with quick repairs, and a sharp knife. Well, a good knife is worth its weight in gold when it comes to survival. Now, I'm not saying you need to go full-on Bob the Builder here. A basic multi-tool with a good range of functions will do the trick for most folks. But if you've got the space and the inclination, having a small toolkit with a hammer, wrench, and maybe even a small saw can be incredibly valuable. Remember, preparedness is about anticipating needs and being ready to adapt. All right, folks, we're on the home stretch now. Our final must-grab item before a natural disaster might surprise you. It's not fancy, it's not expensive, but let me tell you, it's a lifesaver in a pinch. I'm talking about the one and only, the mighty duct tape. I know, you're probably thinking duct tape? Seriously, Larry? But hear me out. This unassuming roll of sticky silver is like the Swiss Army knife of the survival world. You can use it for just about anything. Need to patch a tear in your tent? Duct tape. Need to secure a makeshift bandage? Duct tape. Need to label your supplies? You guessed it, duct tape. All right, folks, that wraps up our checklist of 15 last-minute items to grab before a natural disaster strikes. Remember, it's crucial to prioritize safety when heading out to shop. Only go if it's safe to do so. Don't wait until the last minute to start gathering supplies. The more prepared you are, the better you'll be able to weather the storm, so to speak. Being prepared ahead of time is key, but having these last-minute essentials can make all the difference when disaster strikes. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends who might need it, and subscribe for more survival tips. Stay prepared and stay safe out there. Until next time, this is Larry. Thanks for watching.